So triggered by this cookie. What do you mean? Why would you be triggered by a cookie? It was the cookie that we made on a live. We made the dough on the last live and I baked it yesterday and it was pretty cakey and a little bit um ooh, what just happened to my window? It was pretty cakey, didn't spread too much, but spread just enough so that it looked like a cookie. I was pretty happy with it. I think I could have eliminated the almond flour or the whole wheat flour. Either way, if I had not put in so many different dries into the mix, I think the cookie would have spread flatter and given me a much more chewy consistency. But it was not a fail. I would not say I was unhappy with the cookie. So, welcome to Thursday. Yes, Thursday. Hi Germany, what time is it there? I will be cooking some random ass. Oh, hair, yes. I will be cooking some random ass shit that's just in my fridge. A lot of it is going to be leftovers. It's not going to be very exciting. I'm not cooking anything big. I did buy chicken hearts, but I don't think I'm going to cook that tonight. I'm like way too hungry. 1:30, not terribly late. If it's 3 a.m., I will tell you to get your ass to bed, but you're allowed to stay up at 1:30 because you're an adult. Um, Hello, Philly. Save me a pretzel. I miss the Philly pretzels. I have something to show you. First of all, Aaron prepped his broccoli, and I was there editing the thrifting video that will go live tomorrow at 2 p.m. Plug, plug, plug. It's very silly. There's literally no content in there other than just watching us roll around into different thrift stores and walking around Brooklyn. That's it. But if you're into that kind of vlog, it's for you. Hello, Australia and Boston and NoCal. And anyway, I was at Aaron's and I noticed that he had this jar of broccoli stems, probably for days. It's starting to turn like yellow. You know the color that broccoli turns when the broccoli is like, I'm a die. Eat me. And I asked, yo, Aaron, do you want these stems? And he's like, not all yours. And I was like, cool, bro. Uh, so I will probably just be microwaving these because I don't feel like cooking. So you got a Birkenstocks ad? By the way, I don't know if you saw my Instagram photo, but breaking in the boots are gonna take a fucking while. Hi, Jeff. I reached out to customer service today and I was like, yo, do you think I can get a partial refund on this? I've never had a pair of Birkenstocks hurt me this bad. And they were like, you just gotta break them in. And now that you've worn them, we can't take refunds. And I was like, cool, sucks to sucks. So that was 800, that was like $381. So we'll just have to gradually break in $400 of pain. That's fine. It will get done. I will enjoy the process of destroying my body for the sake of attaining this romantic ideal of who I could be. It's most of my life. Yes, people have told me to break it in with ice. I don't know. I'm kind of a masochist. I'm totally fine with just suffering for it. But in any case, we're gonna go microwave these. And I can't wait to show you these new things that I just got from the Salvation Army today on my way back from Aaron's place. They're here on the counter. They're clear. You can't see them. Went through a little bit of a splurge, one might say. By which I mean $10. Hello, Alabama. Yeah, the customer rep was like, you shouldn't be wearing these shoes for more than half an hour at a time. And I was like, I guess I'll never wear it because I never go out for just half an hour. Is this making the potato quality better or worse, or no change? So you remember we had the green curry fishball thing? I will basically be cooking the broccoli in the microwave and then heating this up over it so it melts. Did you know that you're not supposed to rinse your mouth after brushing your teeth or mouthwash? Really? I don't know, that seems kind of funky. Can you stretch the leather at a shoe repair place? I don't think you guys understand how I prefer to just give myself pain rather than do all these hacks that probably will work. I don't know what it is about my twisted psychology that makes me want to just suffer through things. Maybe to prove to myself that I am as indestructible as I would like to believe. In whatever case, it's probably a action against my eventual mortality and just letting myself be in as much denial as possible for as long as I can. And one day I will stretch my body until it breaks, and then I'll be like, well, fuck, what was I thinking? But then I'll probably realize that I did it to myself all life long and come to peace with it, as we all will, sooner or later. And if you don't, you die anyway, so. Mouthwash, floss, mouthwash, brush, mouthwash. Carolyn, that is quite a routine. My regimen does not include mouthwash at all. Good night to those of you who are leaving. I just floss and brush, and I usually rinse. I do use a toothpaste that tell you not to rinse because it has this component in it that apparently rebuilds your teeth the longer it sits on the teeth. So, but if it's a fluoride toothpaste, I'm gonna rinse that shit out. So, hi Germany. Has anyone in Germany found me a husband yet? Please help me. I just went back on Hinge today and it is deranged. Every time I go back on one of these apps, it just gets worse. I don't know how it's possible, but it just gets worse. Every time. Without fail. Hi, Malta. Okay, so here's the first item that we're gonna clean. This is a Pyrex bowl with tiny little handles. Isn't it cute? Now, normally for a clear glass bowl, I would not be spending more than $1, but this is $2 plus tax, and I thought it was worth it because it's cute. I'm probably gonna die soon, and it is also vintage Pyrex. I don't know if you can see that, but vintage Pyrex has a different logo than modern Pyrex. So this is Mom's modern Pyrex. Shit, you can't see anything because my potato quality is the worst. Fuck me. Okay. Pyrex. You probably still can't see it, but you can probably see it better now because it's right in the doorway. But that is a rounded font with all lowercase letters. That is modern, contemporary, new Pyrex logo. And this, if you can see it, is all uppercase, and the font is way blockier and angular. Did you ask if a German here has a husband? I do, but delivering him to you might be quite expensive. No, 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 no. You don't understand. You need to find me a husband. Find me, my husband, who's a German citizen, so that I can deliver myself to him, so that I can be an EU citizen and get the fuck out of here. Anyway, this was $1.99 plus tax. It says 019 600 milliliters Pyrex, copyrighted, for oven and microwave, no stovetop or broiler, Corning, New York, USA 26. That's everything that it says. We are now going to take the sticker off and wash it and possibly use it. I do love an old Pyrex. Apparently they are built much more sturdy in terms of being shatterproof. So I will first wash it with just dish soap to get rid of surface grime. I don't know why I'm telling you how to wash dishes, you probably know. But I will go in with Barkeeper's Friend on the next round. Hi Jeff, you're going to Germany in May with Aaron and Grandma Dixie, and you will look for a German husband for me. Thank you so much, Jeff. Thank you. I would prefer someone who's not over the age of 45, if possible. And I don't know if anybody underneath 30 wants to get married to a random American, but my preferred age range is 30 to 40 to 3, if that makes sense. I feel like going older than 10 years, my age, is like weird. I feel like, so I went on Hinge and I unchecked the box that said the age range is a deal breaker. And I was looking at all these like upper 40s to like lower 50s dudes who showed up. And I was like, dude, you're like halfway to being my dad. This is weird. I've never been to Germany before. No. I don't really want to inherit anything other than the citizenship. Too many openings in German workplaces. We need to hire people ASAP. Yes, hire me! Honestly, I don't even think we need Barkeeper's Friend. This baby cleaned up real nice with just soap. So I guess what we can do is boil it. But let me show you. Often a red flag if middle-aged men want to date someone 20 years younger. I mean, it doesn't need to be a red flag for me to just say no because I'm not comfortable with it, you know? Hi, Alaska. Look at this baby. She's so shiny. Cute. What a cutie. She fits in my hand quite nicely. She's a double hander. My hands, my fingies can rest here. There's like a slight little divot angled downwards. It's a soft little curve bend. I love it. I love the way she fits me. I don't have to be married to live in Germany, no. I just want to get married to a German dude so I can live in Germany without other visa issues, you know? But the immigration people are going to see this live stream and they're going to be like, revoke her ASAP. But anyway, $2 plus tax. What a little cutie. And let me see about my broccoli. Broccoli's doing nice. Broccoli is doing tender. I don't know if the Pyrex bowl had a lid, but it ain't got no lid now. The second thing that I bought was a little bit pricier, and I need you guys to Google something for me, okay? This one was $6.99 plus tax, okay? Hi, China. Where in China are you from? This has a lid, and it also has a divider down the middle. Do you see that? So what I'm going to ask you to do for me right now, to encourage audience participation is I'm going to tell you what it says on the bottom, and you're going to Google for me if this is stovetop safe, okay? I tried to do a quick Google in the store, but I couldn't find this exact model. So let me tell you what it says. Get your notepads out, and I'm going to need to take the tape off first. Fucking hope this tape peels clean, because you know my pet peeve. The smell of sweet plastic tape. We love it. Sometimes the best thing to get rid of tape residue is the tape itself. So I'll try to use some of the adhesive power of the tape to kind of pick its own comrades off. Sometimes like attracts like, but not always. Okay, on the lid, I spot on the lid, it says 407. Not sure what that's referring to. Currently struggling with a little bit of residue. I don't have a polish remover. What I do use to remove nail polish is nail polish. I have a thing of removing like. I don't own nail polish remover, I just own nail polish. And since I don't really use nail polish that often, I have enough nail polish to use as remover. Okay, I think this is good enough. We can wash off the rest. All right, you ready? I'll give you all the clues, okay? Why not Australia? Aussie men are smoking hot. Not really a smoking hot kind of person, but, to each their own. The lid says 407. And that is the only marking on the lid. The bottom here reads T.M.reg. So I guess that's like trademark regulated maybe. And then it says fire-king. Hi, congratulations on your new job that starts on February 13th. It says fire-king. Then it says 22. Then it says made in USA. Then it says 1-2 quart. So 1.5 quarts. Okay. There is a divider here. This is the model. So while I go wash this, let me know what you find about whether or not we can stovetop this. Thank you in advance. Yes, the lid fits perfectly. Like it shifts a little bit, but it's made to fit. The internet says Fire King wasn't made in the 1940s to 70s and they don't make them anymore. Hi, Romania. Thank you for that. Good morning. Hi, Malaysia. Is it Pyrex? It says Fire King. I don't think it is Pyrex. I think Fire King was a Pyrex competitor based on what I Googled in the store. I'm gonna need glasses soon. It is Anchor Hawking. It doesn't say Anchor Hawking, but maybe the companies transferred names as the time went on. I'm not too sure. Not stovetop safe. What? Shit. I was hoping it would be stovetop safe. Because why would it have a divider if it's not stovetop safe? What is it used for in the oven? What would you cook in this? It would have been so cool for me to have had a pot that had a divider down the middle, guys. Imagine all the random ass recipes I could have made with this. Maybe I'll just go ahead and stovetop it anyway until it shatters all over. Well, I thought I knew about casserole dishes. Tiny half and half casserole. Okay. Fuck! I really wanted it to be stovetop safe. Damn it. Guys, you ruined my hopes and dreams. No, I'll keep it. I'll bake some weird shit with it. When was the last time you saw a freaking dish with a divider down the middle? Like, this shit is too cool. Okay? Made my day when I saw it. It would have been amazing if I could put this on the stovetop. Like, that would have been orgasmic, but it's okay. I've gone many nights without orgasms. I'll survive. Do you guys want ASMR of this soap squishing? Is this pleasing to anyone out there? Do we have some soap freaks in the crowd? It does look like a mini hot pot. That's kind of what I wanted to use it for. Can you imagine? This hot pot would have been perfect for like 2 people. So if it's oven safe, it's also microwave safe, which is fine. Because I can microwave 2 different things in there, I guess. Tell us about cats. No, they're just cats. Not much to say. Not everything has meaning. I am extremely pleased with how both of these cleaned up. They cleaned fairly easily. All they needed was a little bit of a scrub. I don't really see any residue left over. They are shiny. I don't really see... The Pyrex has a few scratches, but nothing major. I don't even think the Fire King has any scratches. It looks very nice. Condition is great. Boop, 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 boop. Well, you're gonna go sleep. Sleep might be worth it. But sometimes company can also be worth it. Can I see my reflection in it? Not really, because I have no soul. This sounds like my soul if I had one. Okay. Now that we are done molesting our thrifted goods. Wow. This is some OnlyFans shit, guys. You're so welcome. What a cutie! What a cutie! What a cutie! The little things in life delight me to no end. Nails on a chalkboard. Well, Rams, you simply don't deserve this orgasmic ASMR experience, I guess. All right then, broccoli time. I don't actually enjoy ASMR at all. It's just a running gag on the internet that everybody else does. Lately, I can't tell if I'm getting better from my long COVID or if I'm just simply getting used to dealing with the consequences of feeling complete exhaustion all the time from long COVID. It has been about a month and a half now since I've tested negative from COVID, but somehow, I don't even know if this energy level is like my max now. It certainly doesn't feel like I'm dying the way that I was when I first got better, but it also feels like I'm just really exhausted all the time. And I've also just had friends who tell me like, yo, you look like shit. I don't know, guys. I don't know. So, is Vision stovetop safe then? Because this one says Vision, Corning, and then the lid says Pyrex. So I don't know why this says Pyrex and the handle of the pot says Vision. But the lid says Pyrex on this. I'm learning so much. Learning so much from y'all. Where is my pepper? Hi, Jersey City. Which stop on the path are you? This is a mismatched lid? That's crazy, bro. Because this looks like it was made for, like, it's the same color. The size is basically perfect. I don't understand how this could be a mismatch. Does it fit on my new one? Nope. It's not interchangeable. Fishball curry. With broccoli stems and water. And hopefully some pepper. Yeah, I don't know at what point you technically qualify to say you have long COVID, but I just know that it's been long enough, and I don't know what's going on anymore. Oh yes, look at your vision and see what the lid says. Report back. Thank you. In whatever case, I'm so glad I had an opportunity to spend some money today and feel happy. Retail therapy does wonders. And for me, nothing delights me more than thrifted retail therapy. Oh, I did miss a spot. That's gross, June. I didn't get an internet service provider. I still have no internet. It has been 2 months and a half since I fully moved in here. I still do not have internet. I have my phone with data. No internet. This building is not serviced by Verizon. Thank you for complimenting my outfit. I'm going to introduce this. This shirt is my mom's. I found it in her wardrobe. I'm wearing it backwards because, as you can see, I do not have enough boobage to hold up that neckline, and I did not really want to go full OnlyFans tonight. This, I thrifted at Ultra in Vintage on Knickerbocker, which is a delightfully fun street to say. Right after I got my last tattoo, which I cannot show you because it is on my torso, and that would entail me getting naked, which is not safe for YouTube. But this I got for $6. Pretty cool, huh? It fits. Like, it's the proper height. It hits my ankle and calves just right. It has pockets, which we love. It has these cute little buttons. Unfortunately, when I tore out the price tag, the fabric is so old and thin that the price tag ended up ripping a whole hole in one of the straps. I think it was this one, and I had to like sew it back up with the same colored thread, but I did it. Should every woman have an OnlyFans? I think everyone who wants to have an OnlyFans should have an OnlyFans. Yo, backwards shirt is underrated. I wear most of my shirts backwards when I can. When is Aaron coming back from? What trip are you talking about? Aaron has not been on a trip for a very long time. Are you happier? Debatable. Am I happier that I don't work for a corporation anymore? Yes. Am I happier that I don't have like a stable income? Am I happy that I'm alone? I guess. Yes. Am I happy that I have to pay double the utilities and rent that I used to pay? You know, everything costs something, right? So there's no straight answers for any of these. There are really expensive thrift shops and vintage shops in New York too. For example, I went to one in Manhattan in the East Village about a month ago, and the sofas were going for like over $1,000. I was like, bro, who's got money to thrift like this? Anyway, are you gonna get dial-up? I mean, that would be so hipster of me and delightful. But I don't think we have dial-up anymore. Has anyone reached out wanting you to run a channel, like my own channel? Because I'm running my own channel right now. Why would I want to run someone else's channel when I got my own channel to run? And I run a channel of chaos. Do you understand? I give you lives. I give you cooking. I give you short form and long form. I give you thrifting. I give you walking. I give you random ass rants and grief I just give you everything. It's like a buffet, and you don't know how long this shit has been sitting on the hot plate. You gotta eat it at your own risk. Oh, Corningware makes the bottoms and Pyrex makes the tops. Thank you for checking that out. I wonder, so it says Vision, and then on the bottom of the handle it says BO. Interesting. But other than that, I guess Vision is owned by Corningware then? You know, this one doesn't even say. It doesn't even say stovetop. It just says Vision, Corning, USA 1.5 liter. So it doesn't even say stovetop, but it's been on stovetop and it seems fine. I'm really tempted to make that. I'm really tempted to put this on the fire. Guys. Where did I get this? At a thrift store. I got it for $10. The Pyrex does not say the town. No. Okay, I won't put it on the stovetop. Fine, you guys, fine. You don't want me to make a mess out of my own house that you don't have to clean for content? This one came from a store in Long Island City called Remix Market. Remix Market. I don't think for a pot, $10 is too much to ask. Ooh, it melted your floor. Damn, girl. Yeah, I don't want that to happen. No thanks. What am I eating? Broccoli stems with fishball curry. Yum. I wanted a clear pot for so long. I honestly probably would have paid up to $30 for this. But it was $10. All right, what shall we talk about while I eat my trash food? I don't see myself going away on vacation because I have grandma. And also the last time I went on vacation, mom died. I'm a little bit traumatized. Yes, broccoli stems are so underrated, guys. They're also delightful, slightly sliced, like thinly sliced, and then you can dip them into sauces like cheese dips or hummus or whatever. They're just great. I highly recommend you start using your broccoli stems. And if they are a little bit fibrous and tough, you can peel away the outer layers. The inner layers are tender and creamy and almost sweet tasting. Dip the stems in PB. Actually, I love stir frying broccoli and broccoli stems in like a peanut butter sauce situation. Absolutely agree. Mm-hmm. You're making me feel very nervous. There's 350 of you, and I don't know what to talk about. So I guess you'll just have to eat with me and drop off slowly while I bore you with silence. Will you adopt another pet? I won't say no, but not right now. I heard ratio of women to men in New York City is totally off. San Francisco, heaps of single men here. You're absolutely right. I have a friend who's trying to like get married, have a baby daddy, go through with it all. And she's like, yo, I gotta set my dating apps to the West Coast because New York City ain't it. And y'all, New York City ain't it. I can confirm. Um, what was your favorite episode of the Budget Eat series? Personally speaking, I think there's a tie because mom dying obviously affected me in so many different ways. So the most special episode and also one of the most gut-wrenching, anxiety-ridden ones was using up mom's pantry items, the Lunar New Year one. The second episode that I love pre-grieving is using up random stuff from my kitchen. So like we didn't really buy anything, we just used whatever my kitchen had, and that was delightfully fun. And I felt like that episode really got to let you see who I am in terms of what I like packed in my kitchen, and um, just revealed a lot of like randomness and chaos. And it was very liberating to just be like, here's everything that is expired and we're gonna make something out of it. Let's go buck wild. Logistically, both of those episodes were a nightmare because they were the least structured in terms of like what I had to use. Mom had way too many items for me to incorporate into a single episode, but because I was still very much deep in grief at that point, I wanted to use that video to like memorialize her in a way, so I tried to put everything she left behind in the episode, which like totally did not work. Um, so I had to slash some items off. That was a really formative episode for me to make because I had to be constantly processing how to let go of mom and that she died, because it was exhausting to film it. It's always exhausting to film Budget Eats, but it was exhausting to film with grief weighing heavily on me and trying to have this perfectionistic portrayal of my relationship with my mother, which obviously you cannot do in a 90-minute segment. And so a lot of it was like behind the scenes, me emotionally, psychologically, mentally trying to negotiate with myself what I cannot show, what I can leave behind, what I can carry with me silently without having to film it all. And I'm really glad I did it, but it was fucking hard making that episode. Why does Fred stay with Aaron? Because Fred likes the old place. He's familiar. He also, I think, likes Aaron more than he likes me. Would you ever consider doing a show where you cook based on someone else's budget and what they bought for the week? That was actually one of the ideas that we had for Budget Eats before I got fired, is that I would go to coworkers' houses and just cook with whatever they had in their kitchen. I was looking forward to that, but alas, best laid plans of mice and men. Is there a dish you're craving at the moment? Yeah, I actually I bought these tomatoes thinking I would make tomato egg stir fry, but I'm too tired tonight to cook, so maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. What would your absolute favorite dining experience consist of? I'll tell you what favorite dining experience I've had already so far. It was when Aaron and I went to Tokyo, and we took a train ride out to this like, I don't know. It was still Tokyo, but it was like not center Tokyo. And it was like a yakiton where they serve yakitori. Very limited seating. One of the few times we lined up to go somewhere because they don't take reservations. And we sat outside and waited for like over an hour in the drizzly rain. And it was fucking worth it. Their house rule is you must order one alcoholic drink at least. So we ordered this like lemon seltzer beer thing, I think. It was delicious. I got so fucking drunk because I don't drink, and like any little bit of alcohol hits me extremely hard. And it was like a Michelin starred experience, honestly, because the chef would walk around the entire kind of bar seating. It was like a round U-shaped horseshoe bar seating, and he would show all the customers, whether or not they spoke Japanese, what he would be cooking and grilling for them for the next course. He would try to explain it in a little bit of English, but mostly it was, for Japanese people. And it was amazing. It was like the most deliciously clean pig intestine I've ever had in my life. It turned out to be one of my favorite skewers of the night. And just the whole atmosphere was so like friendly and convivial, but also respectful of space and just heartwarming. I miss that. I miss that meal. Who are some food content creators you like? I like a lot of them, but I can't remember them by name. Is there someone called Shaquille O'Neal or some play off of that name? Um, I really like his videos. I used to like You Suck at Cooking, but it got a little like too monetized for me. Um, Adam Ragusia I used to really like, but he's like doing podcasty things now, so I don't really tune in that much. Aaron and I used to watch what's his face? Mark Wiens all the time. I also got sick of watching Mark Wiens. I still used to like watching Mikey Chen's Strictly Dumpling videos a lot with Aaron, but now that I don't live with Aaron, we don't really watch him anymore, and I don't really feel like watching it by myself. It's kind of sad, I guess, when you used to do something with someone and you like do it alone, it just doesn't hit the same way. Um, what are you thinking about for income? Any things out of the ordinary? I don't know. What do you have to recommend for out of the ordinary things for income? Are there any conspiracy theories you believe in? Girl, I make my own conspiracy theories. I'll believe in all of them. At this point, what wouldn't you believe? I went to therapy after mom died. It was helpful, for sure. Your use of expired things scares me a bit. Good. I'm glad. We gotta dip our toes into the horror genre every now and then. Brett, you don't have to thank me for inspiring you to get an Instant Pot. You have to thank mom, because mom left that shit behind without ever fucking using it. And I know that for sure because she never took the fucking tag off. And it was all because of my fucking fault, because one day I visited her and she was like, "Can you teach me how to use this?" And I was like, "Mom, the instruction booklet is right there. You gotta press this and that and make sure it's sealed." And she basically like did not absorb that information. I was too impatient and a complete brat and a total bitch to my mom sometimes. And so mom never used the fucking Instant Pot, and now I have to stare at it every day and go, yes, that time that mom asked you to help her and you fucking did it, you asshole. That's my internal dialogue. What's dating etiquette like these days? Yeah. Someone who wants you to invest in crypto is like the pig slaughtering scam. They target Asians a lot. Be careful. Why did I get fired? You should Google that. It's online. How did you feel about your own recent long form video? Wait, how did you feel your own recent long form video went? I personally loved it. Oh, yay. I completely understand grieving in a public platform in a public forum space is really hard. I had to do it a couple of years ago. Yes, I liked my long form content, but I also liked the fact that other people liked it, because obviously I'm not going to be the one watching it 100,000 times. I cannot use anything that I gave Delish. That is all Hearst intellectual property. So unless they find another host to pick up the show again, Budget Eats is dead. And I don't mind it. Like, the concept of the show is not something that I'm interested in picking up again, because I think having done so many episodes over 2+ years, I've basically taught the principles of budget shopping and budget cooking to way beyond what I needed to. People keep asking me, can you do it with this? Can you do it with that? Can you do it with this dietary restriction and that cuisine and this store? And I'm just like, babes, like that's not what the show is about. Yeah, I can keep making content for the content mill, but the show is about teaching you how to think beyond what you think this thing should be used for and just breaking all the rules and being okay with failing and experimentation and having fun and eating your mistakes and learning from your mistakes and like showing you a few tricks how to minimize food waste, and that's it, right? So as far as budget eats as a show, I'm not going to do it. I'm not allowed to do it. I might get sued if I do it. But also, I still have the rights to myself, so that's a good thing. I fucking hope I have the rights to myself. So, you know, I'm gonna be me, and that will change over the years. I don't know how yet. That's the exciting part. If you tag along, you'll see how crazy and insane I get. And you can go back to all these like archived videos, and you'll be like, see, June used to be relatively normal. And then you'll say that, and you'll think, no, actually, she was never normal. What am I saying? Yeah. I'm really backed up on the comments, like 5 minutes behind on the comments. So let me just, Internet Shaquille, that's probably it. Thank you, Ram. Did you ever watch Maddie Madison? Yes, I do like him. He is a little bit too intense sometimes, but he is very endearing and adorable. Oh, the adobo flavored nuts. Yes, I ate them last night with my friend who visited for the oatmeal cookies, and I will snack on some now. They are so crunchy. I also used to watch June's Kitchen for the cats, of course, but that kind of cooking is totally not my cooking, like the kind of beautiful, intricate, delicate, finessed, chefy vibes. Not me. But you know what is me? Snacks. Adobo flavored peanut. These are Filipino treats, inexplicably with Japanese characters on top. I don't know why this new kitchen looks exactly like the old one, but I'm a fan of it. And I kind of think it was like mom's doing of having me access this apartment and being like, oh, it's so familiar and so close to grandma. Like, how could I not move here? Can you teach us how to pickle things? I've pickled things before. You throw vinegar, salt, and sugar in a jar, and you throw your vegetables in there, and you don't have to fill the jar all the way with the vinegar, just half the way, and then you shake it every once in a while for 2 hours. You slide it into the fridge, let it marinate overnight, shake it again. By the next morning, the vegetable juices will have leached out into the vinegar, creating more liquid to help you immerse the solids, and that's why you don't need to fill it up all the way with vinegar. Here we go, cracker nuts. Appetizing adobo flavor in a crunchy nutshell. Bet you can't stop at one. Enjoy this fun and filling treat that's perfect for individual snacks or parties. Enjoy the crunch. Made in the Philippines by Food Industries Inc. And the ingredients, which I will now read to you, are delightful for a particular reason. And let's see if you can pick out the reason. Ingredients: selected peanuts, wheat flour, sugar, modified cornstarch, natural flavoring, which includes cayenne powder, garlic powder, onion powder, no artificial coloring, maltodextrin, soybean extract, iodized salt, refined coconut oil, and monosodium glutamate. Can you guess what delighted me about this ingredients list while I read the rest of your comments? I don't think I watched Mommy Tang. That name doesn't sound familiar. Are you eating bones again? Nope. Not recently. I love the Instant Pot. Manji, I used to watch in the OG days, now no longer. I love Dumpster Divers. Absolutely, they're doing the good work. I love getting messages like this because it's a really lovely reminder from moms still with us how you feel internally. The message is from MSNBC. Moms love you no matter what you did or said. Mom wasn't and isn't worried about the diss. Instant pot. Thank you for making me feel a little bit better about my shittiness. Melissa keeps asking if Aaron and I broke up. April 2021. Are you able to publish your recipes that you develop for Delish? They are already published on the Delish website. They are Delish property. My favorite dessert, one of them is cheesecake. Do you want us to support Delish by watching the videos you made? If we haven't, is there a way to make our watches benefit you? No. I never got paid for my video appearances. I don't get any portion of the ad revenue. You can watch the Delish videos. I don't fucking care. You do whatever makes you happy. Like, I mean that with the most wholesomeness I can gather, and I mean this genuinely. A lot of people are like, cancel this, cancel that, we won't participate. Whatever, guys. Like, the corporation still stands. It won't hurt from you not watching it. The system is the problem. It's not any of my particular bosses. It's not even Hearst. It's just like the entire fucking system that we live under will keep churning this toxic system along, and it's out of our control right now for the most part. All we can do is on an individual and small community collective level come together and push back when we have the energy to push back so that we don't get abused even further. As to whether or not you want to watch Delish videos, that's totally a personal choice. I made the content. I want people to watch it. I don't benefit from it any whatsoever beyond the fact that you get to enjoy it, and that gives me some sort of peace and fulfillment and feeling like I've done something for my fellow human beings, either keeping them company or teaching them how to cook, or like not give a shit about the small things and even the big things sometimes because it's out of our control. Does that answer your question? I don't eat traditional meals like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I would like to pickle carrots. I love pickled carrots. They're sitting in my fridge right now. MSG is not it. The reason why I loved this ingredients list, because this is the first ingredients list where I have seen someone say no artificial coloring in the ingredients list. Like, normally you list ingredients that are in the thing that you're eating. You don't list the things that aren't in the thing that you're eating. This is the very first time in my life where it says no artificial coloring. Usually you see that like in the front of the bag as like a little side blurb. But this one is in the ingredients list. Delightful. The aberrations of life. Been thinking about this one the past time. How do you feel about people bringing children onto this planet, especially when we look at the current state of the planet and the selfish purpose? Everything is selfish. The planet has always been on this track of chaos. We definitely accelerated it with our fucking myopic greediness and like stupidity. We've tried to run away from mortality by creating these concepts of status, power hoarding, control, and currency. And now, because we want to keep running away from mortality and we can't recognize the fact that we will all die one day and nothing will matter, we want to insist on maintaining this fantasy and fairy tale and like escapism that, yeah, we can actually make shit that will make the world remember us for fucking ever. And we can do that by hoarding all the power and the control, and we can do that by manipulating other people so that we feel better. And that's how we got here. We strayed away from community and we started to focus on what we can do for ourselves to feel better, because we were unable to face the fact that we are dust. Now, I, on the other hand, find great comfort, both existentially, big picture speaking, and also on a day-to-day basis, especially in dealing with anxiety, depression, and whatever the fuck is going on in my biochemistry, that to consider myself as dust is quite an alleviation of burden. And when I did shrooms one time, please don't call the cops on me, I had a moment of great zen, peace, clarity, whatever you want to call it, where I thought I was a doll in a dollhouse. And I was like, this is great, because this means that none of my choices are mine, and it means that I can let go of all this burden of feeling of responsibility for everything that I've chosen to do or not to do, and just give myself up to the hands that move me within this dollhouse. And it was like relinquishing the control, relinquishing the illusion of my agency was freeing. The harder you struggle to gain control, the more evident it becomes that you don't have it. Because the more you want something, by definition means you don't have it. Maybe that explains why I'm so masochistic sometimes. So in terms of children, I've been an antinatalist since my early 20s. When I got together with Aaron, I knew that I would get along with him because we were both on the same page about not wanting to be married and not wanting kids. And that's very important for me, is to find a partner who believes in both of those things. I'm not opposed to getting married, but I would have to get married for, well, I wouldn't say I have, marriage doesn't fucking matter. That's the point. Like, we get married, we don't get married, doesn't matter, right? Because when we stop loving each other, or when we get on each other's nerves, or when we find out that, like, you're actually not a good person for me, or I just simply don't fit with your lifestyle and your goals anymore, then you get a divorce, right? And marriage and the changes that you both will go through and the eventual divorce that might potentially happen are just like roadblocks to you making a swifter exit, right? So it's kind of like, if you want to handcuff yourself in a beautifully diamond bedazzled ring, whatever, do it. I don't fucking care. But like, that's just one extra layer of work that you put yourself through. I don't think marriage is an indicator of love. I think marriage was set up as a socio-political function, and it should be treated as such. But, you know, I won't lie, there is a part of me that still buys into the fairy tales that I was brainwashed with growing up. Like, yeah, I still want to find my Prince Charming in a lot of senses, and I do find that, like, it's a very romantic ideal to get married, but do I want to go through with the burdens of a wedding? And I don't know, like, then you have to think about prenups. It just adds a lot of complications, like human complications. Like, we made the institution of marriage. Like, we made the institutions that hold us in place. We've made our lives so much harder than it had to be. And for what? But yeah, kids. Definitely no fucking kids are coming out of my vagina. That's clear. That's a non-negotiable for me. If I'm ever in a good enough place, mentally, economically, and like physically speaking, and my partner is on the same page, I'm open to adopting. And that's it. Cool. I hope I never have to do this spiel again. It sets me on fire. Okay, we deserve a crunch. You ready? It sounds so much better outside of my skull. Like, my friend ate one, and the sound was so satisfying hearing him chew it last night. It sounds crunchy when I chew it in my own skull, but it sounds so much better. Like, the acoustics are just like 10 times better coming from someone else's teeth. I don't know why. CBD gummies don't work for me. CBD chocolate does if I eat the whole bar. Bye, Chris. Philosophy, Lucy says, heard something the other day. Philosophy is a canoe that we use to get through whatever we need help with. Employ whatever philosophy works for you. When you stop needing it, you get another canoe. Love it. I think after mom died, one of my like Instagram captions that I'm most proud of, because it helped me express a lot of detangling mentally, was survival is about choosing which lies you want to believe in. And I don't say lies in a like derogatory way. I think lies are so essential sometimes because the truth is just so big and overwhelming and all encompassing that it is impossible to actually ingest truth and absorb it. It's kind of like your mouth is only 4 inches wide at its max, and you're trying to eat this thing that's like a mile long, wide, tall, deep, whatever. It's impossible. So you just, a lie is a portion of the truth, or a lie is a distortion of the truth. Whatever it is, sometimes we do need lies to help us exist in the present moment because we're human. If one takes a marriage seriously, you will try to fix the marriage as good as you can and not just discard it on differences. Sure. But if you take a relationship seriously, you can also do that without marriage, I would argue. But yeah, a marriage is basically like one of those apps that control how much time you spend on your screens. You can just stop using your phone at any time. But we've now gotten to the stage in society where we now have to convince ourselves to do something. And it's not enough that we self-enforce it. We have to selectively and electively choose these outside external controls to help us control ourselves. It's like very fucking twisted. And that makes me feel fucking out of control too. Yeah, marriage and cheating are different topics, yo. Cheating happens anytime you're not honest with your partner, okay? You don't have to have like physical sex to cheat. There is emotional cheating. Cheating is probably present in every relationship to a degree if you're not completely honest with the fact that like monogamy is a self-inflicted system of morality that makes you feel guilty for simply looking at other people with sexual interest or romantic interest. Now, I imagine the ideal relationship for me is one in which I exist with my partner on a plane of trust and honesty, that we are able to say like, yo, I think I have a crush on this person. And we don't stop ourselves from talking about it, and that we don't immediately jump to feeling toxic jealousy. I think jealousy is normal. Not normal to us like biologically, but epigenetically speaking, the way that we've been moralized and socialized, it's become ingrained in us to feel jealous when we feel like we've been deprived of something that should be ours. Again, this idea of people and affection and love and relationships being property of sorts that can belong to you and you only is also a very controlling aspect of our society. So the idea of a relationship and the idea of the ideal love are also institutions that I think go hand in hand with supporting the other systems of oppression that we've set up for ourselves. They're not as toxic on the surface, but like they do kind of send roots down into your whole being about what you should do and what you shouldn't do. And rather than dealing with it on an individual level with your partner and recognizing that every person absorbs things differently and processes things differently, we kind of have this like one size fits all you're a good person if you do this, and you're a bad person if you do this. And I just find that really hurtful. Like, I am a victim of it as well, and I am a perpetuator of it as well, and I wish I weren't, and I'm trying to work myself to be more open-minded about it. And I think having an open relationship with Aaron for the second half of our time together was really helpful in me processing and learning how to be jealous without hurting myself and hurting other people, if that makes sense. Because I think if you just experience these emotions and you recognize them, you have the option of figuring out where they're coming from, how they came to be, and or you have the option of like acting out, lashing out, being upset, and completely destroying yourself from the inside out until you inflict that hurt and damage on your partner and potentially other people too. So in terms of how I want to see myself process these ideas and morality systems going forward, how can I participate in harm reduction, basically? How can I deal with pain management? Because pain will not stop coming in life. It will always be present, and it will always keep growing. And it's just up to me of whether or not I can learn new coping mechanisms and methods to digest the pain and diffuse the pain and accept the pain instead of trying to run away from it, and then also in the process of running away with it, possibly hurting myself even more. There's a lot of potholes in life that you can fall into, and if you do things in a rush, you don't know where you might be stepping into. But unfortunately, the way our society is set up, it doesn't afford everyone the same amount of time to digest or process or just rest and take a break and breathe. Like, our society is always like, do this, do that, or you might starve and die. But guess what? You will starve and die one day, and it won't be your fault. That's just how life ends. Crimson Topaz says, I am an old fogey and want to understand asexuality better. Any website suggestions or words of wisdom? You can Google it. I'm still learning. I'm reading books up on it. I'm finding it very enlightening. You have to know that, like, as with all labels of identification and stuff like gender and sexual orientation, there are stereotypes of what these labels mean, but every individual who identify under the same term might not have the same lived experience of what that identity is for them. So just because you read up on a definition of what asexuality is, or what a demisexual, which is what I identify as right now, is, it doesn't mean that definition is where I begin and end. That is just the best word to describe how I feel about my sexual orientation and preferences right now. I'm still trying to understand myself in a lot of ways, and I think we continue to change through time and life experiences, and sometimes we get bored of being the same person, and we wonder, maybe it is possible after all to be someone else. And I don't think that's being fake or a liar. I think that's just a matter of evolving and letting ourselves be open-minded enough that we can evolve through different kinds of identities and personalities. And we can just shed a skin, or shed a mind, or shed a shackle that maybe we put on ourselves, or maybe somebody persuaded us to put on ourselves, or maybe someone else just slapped it on us to begin with. We all come from different backgrounds, with different upbringings, with different socializations and different values and different educations, and like, who the fuck knows what we've been taught, and whether or not, as old as we are, we've been taught to think for ourselves for the first time in our lives. So all of it is kind of strange and scary, and it's a lot like cooking in that you don't know until you try. And so if you are bored or scared of where you currently are, then it would probably benefit you in some ways to turn that monotonous state of fear into a more dynamic state of fear and to just try something else. So, mom dying made me try a lot of new things, and I guess I'm thankful for that. There's a cost benefit to everything. Addison, I'm so happy to hear that. It is truly very fulfilling to help me hear that, like, my random rants can make people feel better. So thank you for sharing. I'm not shitting on people who choose to be married. Like, literally, that's your choice. I don't fucking care. I'm using the word fucking to, like, express just how much I don't give a shit. Like, you want to get married and you're happier for it, love it for you. You don't want to get married, love that for you. Like, you just got to do what's right for you. I'm just saying, for me, I need more than a reason of buying into fairy tale romance plot lines to get married. Like, that's not enough for me. But if you're saying there's going to be like a tax cut, sure, let's do it. The less money I can pour into this fucking military complex that we have, that Biden just signed $850 billion into, the better. Fuck me. Hi, Lucinda. Martin says, been confused with my sexual life, feeling very asexual in my current relationship, but also wanting to open up the relationship to experience more things. Being a human is exhausting. I would say being bored or unstimulated sexually with your long-term partner is not the same thing as identifying as asexual. Asexual is, it sounds like you still have a desire to explore sexuality and sexual connections with other people outside of your main partner, which is fine. Like, I recognize that as a normal thing, for me at least. But I would say that my understanding of what it means to be asexual, or at least on the asexual spectrum, is that your sexuality is much more non-existent than allosexual people. So for those of you who don't know, allosexual is to asexual the way cisgender is to, like, that's not a good comparison. Anyway, asexual, allosexual is the opposite of that. Allosexual means you're homosexual, heterosexual, pansexual, all sorts of just like normative sexuality. I'm trying not to use this normative framework, but for those of us who are still steeped in the normative framework of, like, you want sex with other people, that's normal. Allosexual is your term for that. So, for me, asexuality means that you don't really have a desire to have sex with people, period. Demisexual for me is that you don't have a desire to have sex with people until you've formed a emotional bond with them. So obviously there's more to it than that. I'm not going to, like, suddenly want sex with all of my platonic friends just because I trust them and identify with them on a spiritual level. Like, there is also physical attraction and romantic attraction in the mix. Within the asexual community, there are also aromantics. I am not aromantic. Aromantic meaning you don't experience romantic attraction. I do experience romantic attraction. What is the difference between romantic attraction and sexual attraction? I think there is a difference, but I can't quite put it into words right now. But if any of you have words for that distinction, I'm more than happy to read it, because that would probably help me untangle some of my own identity too. Yeah, jealousy can be toxic, especially if it's not communicated with your partner. Yes, I agree. Anything that you hide from your partner is a form of cheating already. It's not really actively cheating against them, it's just cheating against yourself and the bond of the relationship. Someone said, yeah, I'm always confused about pansexual versus bisexual. I think some bisexuals identify as what I perceive to be pansexual. I'm not well versed enough about sexual orientations. Bisexual for me just means they're attracted to both men and women. Bi meaning two, so the bipolars of the gender spectrum, the two poles, male and female. Pansexual is like all encompassing. So that would include like attraction, sexual attraction to genderqueer folks or like trans folk or like anyone and everyone. So I feel like pansexuality is way more inclusive than bisexuality, but I don't know. Haven't read much about it. I do have cousins in the US. Mm-hmm. Any advice on working with local produce and deals in a smaller town where there's less options? My only advice is buy things that go on sale if you want them. I don't know what's available to you, and you might not even know what's available to you until you need to go shopping. So I'm not able to give more advice beyond that. I'm so sorry to jolt you awake from your nap time. I can speak softer like this if you'd rather me just lull you to sleep. Jupiter's realm says, when in a new relationship with Aaron. When in a new relationship with Aaron. It's always just been the one relationship with Aaron. Did you have these same opinions, or did they evolve over time? Everything evolves over time. So many of my thoughts evolved after Mom died, too. You would think that the only things you experience in a romantic relationship are the things that affect your views on romantic relationship, but actually all life experiences affect all life perspectives, even when they don't seem to be matching the category of thought. It's time for a crunch. Night, Melissa. Is it still possible to be asexual if you enjoy touch and cuddling? I enjoy touch and cuddling. I still identify on the asexual spectrum, so I think absolutely. People can actually enjoy sex if they're on the asexual spectrum. They might not be like all the way on the asexual side of the spectrum, but there is a gradient, right? You can enjoy sex. Like, just because you're on the asexual spectrum doesn't mean that you're incapable of enjoying it. It also doesn't mean that you don't have sex if you don't enjoy it. Sometimes people who identify as asexual have sex with their partners because they know that they need to do this to keep the relationship alive, especially if their partner is an allosexual person. And it doesn't mean that they hate the sex, but it might just mean that like it doesn't actually get them going. Like they don't love it the way their partners do. But they love their partners, so they will do something that they know their partners will love. And like that's also a way of showing love and engaging in the relationship. It's a lot to negotiate. And this is like a deeply interpersonal thing that you have to have conversations with your partner about, whether they are asexual identifying or allosexual identifying. Like every single couple needs to have these conversations between them to figure out what the other person actually wants. Like you can't read minds, right? So if you don't know how to communicate your desires and needs, like that's that. There's no trust if you can't talk. Emily says, I am weary when people speak with too much certainty. You speak with a confidence that you understand the universe and your place in that. But I don't think we can ever reach that level of certainty. Okay. Acknowledged. Surviving is about knowing which lies you want to believe in. I'm not right all the time, obviously. I'm just talking because I have a live stream going, and it would be kind of stupid if I just ate, but it's not like I haven't done that before. But tonight I feel like talking. Am I spitting bullshit? Fuck yeah, I'm an English lit major. What do you think we were trained to do in those 4 years of college? But do people find meaning from my bullshit? Sometimes, it seems like it. And so, does bullshit actually help people? It looks like it. Does bullshit piss other people off? Sure does. And that's how we have a thing called Twitter. Okay, I'm really confused, guys. People keep asking me this question, and it's like, have you not seen any of the videos in the last year? Aaron and I are not in a romantic relationship anymore. I'm not gonna answer these questions anymore. I'm so tired of answering it. You can still be friends with someone and you can still spend time with someone even if you're not in a romantic relationship. And I think, especially for someone with whom I've known Aaron since 2011. It's a shit ton of time to spend together. And I would have never gotten into a relationship with someone who I didn't appreciate on some deep level. And so I am the type of person who would prefer to stay friends with my exes. For the most part, Aaron is my only ex. So we'll see for the future exes if that happens. By the way that Hinge is going, I don't know if we'll have more exes. But yeah, I still keep in touch with Aaron. I still go over to his place and use his computer to edit these videos that you guys are enjoying. He's coming over to help me build my own computer. Like, we're still great friends, and I love that we have that connection still. It just feels really nice to know that you've built a connection with someone over the course of a decade, and it didn't just magically crumble and disappear because you decided that this particular arrangement did not work for you. I really don't like the way our world makes us feel like people are so... We treat people like they're unitaskers. Like, oh, we're in a romantic relationship, and now that we've broken up and you're not my romantic partner anymore, that like I just like you, there's no more use for you in my life in a way. Like, it falls in line with the way that we discard everything in this society, like consumeristic. Not only when it comes to clothes and objects and technology and gadgets, but also when it comes to people. The way that corporate jobs just replace you with someone else and make you feel like you never had a fucking identity that was unique. And I'm not saying I want to feel like a snowflake, but it does make you feel like a cog, which is what they want you to feel like, because they don't want you to have any sense of self. Because if you have a sense of self, you begin to realize that they've been fucking gaslighting you this whole time into thinking you're worthless. And you are, in an existential level, but you aren't worthless, especially collectively speaking, as workers and the means of production. So, cogs be damned, we're fucking important cogs. And if all the cogs stop at the same time, guess what that does to the machine? Butterboards are disgusting. Our civilization needs to die right now. That's my thought. Yeah, Aaron's still in my videos, but guess what? That 1 hour and 50-minute long HMAR haul video has 4 friends in it. Am I gonna date all of them just because they're in my video? Or am I allowed to have friends that I'm not dating in my life? You know, just because I choose to have someone included in a video, that means that I'm dating them? It's really weird. So, you know, like, I would like to raise awareness that you are allowed to have platonic friends. Period. We are an old married couple. Absolutely, we are. Yo, I love these fish balls so much. I think I'm gonna eat the rest of them with chickpeas. I forgot I made chickpeas yesterday. My life is gonna be so farty. Yes. The best part about being on your own in terms of a living arrangement is that you don't have to feel guilty of subjecting your partner to farts. When I say that Aaron put up with a lot, Aaron put up with a lot, okay? He put up with a lot, guys. welcome to my channel. This channel has been here since like 2021, I think. Guys, I think we might be closing in on our 2-year anniversary of this channel. Chickpeas. And like, to be clear, I'm annoyed that I'm getting asked this again and again, but I'm not like annoyed at any particular person. Unfortunately, you take the brunt of it because you happen to ask tonight, but so many people have been leaving comments on all of my videos recently being like, are they not together anymore? It's also made me think about like our fascination about partnership. Because like, you don't even know me in real life, but you're very concerned about who I'm partnered with or who I'm not partnered with. And it's like this immense focus on partner status is a focus in our society, right? Maybe that's why I feel so lacking to be single. And I have friends who tell me they feel lonely, and I feel like to be lonely is valid. Yes, it's really, we're meant to be social animals, and if you don't find a deeper connection with someone, it can become very lonely. But I also feel like a part of that experience of loneliness is fueled by this societal obsession with partnership, romantic partnership. And I hate to say it, but could this also be a product of capitalism? Encouraging you to be partnered and married and make kids who will become cogs, just like you. You want them to grow healthy and rich. Don't stay a small cog, be a big cog. We've been live for 1 hour and 38. We have 48%. Karen says you should put in all your video descriptions. Aaron and I are no longer together in a relationship. Yes, I moved to a new apartment. But you know what, Karen? I hear that perhaps more comments on the videos does something to the algo to, like, I don't know, show engagement. So maybe I won't answer these questions and people will just keep asking the same questions over and over again. That's the story of our life, isn't it? We just keep asking the same questions, keep teaching the same cycles of history. We see the same wars happening and the same killings happening and the same injustices happening over and over again. We have all these murders that we celebrate on national holidays, and they go down canonically as saints. But what do we really take away from the lesson? Nothing. We just keep repeating it. We love playing into the stereotypes of the good and the evil. We love playing into the stereotypes of the triumph and the revolution. But like, revolutions are also shit. Because they're only revolutions when they haven't won. Once the revolution is won, they become the new oppressor. Because we still haven't figured out who we're fighting against, have we? You can't win when you're fighting against ideas. They don't exist. Hi, Denmark. I'm so excited. Chickpea, fishball, green curry. This is the best trash meal of my life. It's your first live? Hi, Stephanie. What's going on? I'm eating really mushy stuff that is unidentifiable anymore, and I am ranting about how fucked we've made our world, incessantly worsened by our increasing collective consciousness of how fucked we are as a society. Because now we have the internet and we can zone out to all parts of the world and pay attention to all parts of the fuckery instead of just our local parts of the fuckery. And we see the same things everywhere. And how can we not feel hopelessness when it is so pervasively common? Great question. I don't have answers. If you don't know what a butterboard is, it's literally butter cut and plated on a board the way you would do a charcuterie board, but with butter and accoutrement. It's a new rule. You must date all that appear on your lives, even Fred. Just my lives, not my edited stuff? That's easy. Is there a video explaining you not working for Budget Eats anymore? No, I've just been saying it throughout all the lives. I thought about making one of those videos of like why I left BuzzFeed, the real story of what went down. Like, guys, that's so YouTube. It's so done. There's a whole article. Just Google my name. Just Google my name. It's on the first page. The peanuts weren't crunchier than regular peanuts, but the crackery coating that enveloped the peanuts was very crunchy. Yes, best mix of fashion and comfort. Indeed. It is the way I live my life. I think my dream once upon a time was to be able to afford Eileen Fisher clothes. They kind of look like a kindergarten teacher meets a hippie meets a rich, waspy housewife whose husband has been cheating on her for like 17 years and she's made peace with it. And now she's just like at home, sipping on wine, looking out, thinking about art school, and that vague memory of having sex in a forest in her like 20s. That's the vibe. Do you like that vibe? I like that vibe. Hi, Australia. What are the top 3 recipes you use your food processor for? I don't have a food processor. Okay, where are you getting cheap cauliflower? Because the cauliflower around me are insane. It's like $2 for the smallest head and up to $7 for a full-sized head of cauliflower. My favorite legume is probably peanuts. My second favorite is probably chickpeas. My third favorite is probably red lentils. My fourth favorite might be soybeans. Should I go on? I think that's enough favorites. You know what? I didn't take my vitamins today, but I will say that I have been feeling more steady the past 2 days, and I haven't been taking my vitamins. I don't think there is a causation, but the correlation is very interesting. Do you think miso has no taste? It's very salty. Bye, Brett. Oh, wow, I'm 10 minutes behind on comments. Jesus Christ. Do I like ramen? Like instant? Or handmade ramen? Yeah, what isn't a product of capitalism? Everything is a product. Now we've been so far steeped into capitalism. Yeah, true. I shouldn't be so hard on people asking questions, but I just won't answer them if I'm tired of answering them. It's a free country. Sometimes. Hello. Welcome, 9 a.m. Stop overthinking everything, June. Girl, what do you want me to do if I don't think about things? You certainly wouldn't be getting any of these food concoctions if I didn't overthink things. You can't just lobotomize me like that. You gotta take it all. Cost and benefit analysis. And if one part of you doesn't like one part of me enough that you can't watch the rest of me, then you can't watch the rest of me, right? But I come with all of me. It's all part of the package, baby. I'm a buffet, but sometimes your options are only one item. Depends on the day. Oh, the gas is coming. I feel it. Bye, Corinne. Or Corinne. I still don't know how you say it. Hi, Netherlands. Grandma's grandma. Things don't really change that much. I'm sure I'll let you know if major things change. Is there symbolism behind you wearing only one earring or different earrings at the same time, such as tonight? No. When I got my ears pierced in college, this one stayed and this one got really infected. And it wasn't until last May that I got these two piercings. And then I got these two piercings and one of them got really fucking infected and it scarred horribly in the back. I think this ear just does not like getting pierced. However, I'm keeping a stud in to keep that hole alive for now. I'm hoping that the infection will maybe go away in the next year, but we'll see. It just keeps popping up and recurring sometimes. I'm using a little dab of tea tree oil on it some nights after washing it. I love the fact that I don't think I will have many occasions where I will wear matching earrings. I think that you have these piercings and you can fill them with mismatched items. So it's like the way that I've furnished or lack of furnished my apartment is it looks like a thrift store that's going out of business. And that's my whole vibe is like I'm a thrift store going out of business. So nothing matches and everything's a little bit like grandma-esque. And I'm cool with that. Like, I like the contained chaos of my life. And I hope you do too. Can one make a makeshift panini with a George Foreman? I've never had a George Foreman, but why not? It's just the heated press, right? Substitute for black vinegar, Mom loved balsamic. And I actually really like balsamic too. So I would say balsamic. You can mix balsamic with a little bit of I would say like either white vinegar or rice wine vinegar. Just maybe like a 2-to-1 ratio of black to white vinegar. But Mom just used balsamic. Do you ever make pasta, anything Italian? I made that really weird lasagna. Does that count as Italian? I don't know. Italians will probably like kill me if I said that was. What fruit is in season now that could be affordable? Citrus. Citrus is a winter fruit. I'm ironically seeing a lot of berries. I don't know what part of the world they're in season now, but I think berries are coming into season. Let me take you with me. I don't know how the connection is gonna falter, but I got these blueberries for $1. I got this blueberry for $1. I got 2 blackberries for $1. So berries are in season right now, I think. If you have a paper to write, you should go write. What's your paper? Can we help? Although this comment was made at 9:17 and it's 9:22. Do I have insomnia sometimes when I'm anxious and depressed? Yes. There was a New York Times article today? About what? I don't have any siblings. One-child policy in China when I was born. I mean, again, freedom of speech. You can ask about grandma. I don't have any updates. Can you say whatever happened to Tess? Yeah, Tess left Delish like a long time ago. She's at Serious Eats now. What do you eat in a regular day? The next food video will show you what I eat in a busy, depressed week. It will be very boring, but you'll get to see what I eat. I am still going to get my septum piercing this year. I'm like convinced, but I will be spending a lot of money on a gold jewelry because when I pierced this and it got infected, I didn't want to pay $200 for a gold earring for them to pierce with, so I opted for like the cheapest one that was 40 or 50 bucks. And honestly, I think that was a part of the problem. So now that I'm getting my nose pierced, we're gonna have to go with gold. That's where all the ad revenue will go. Tattoos and piercings. A fish ball is like a meatball, but made with fish and starch. It's a little sweet, a little salty, a little bouncy. How do you mispronounce balsamic? Balsamic. Balsamic? Now you're having me second guess myself. How did you bake the boxed chickpea cake mix? I don't have the special. I just baked it in an oven. I used it like it was flour, or I microwaved it. I don't remember. I might have microwaved it and baked it. You don't need to steam it. You can probably use it like as pancake flour too. Just think of it as it's flour. Just think of it as flour and use it like you would use flour. I never buy berries until they're this cheap, honestly. So, and berries are very bingeable. Yes. What I usually buy at farmer's market, for the most part, I buy apples, a little bit of vegetables, and eggs. Because right now eggs are insanely expensive anyway from the supermarkets. It's no different than a farmer's market price. So eggs are like a worthy splurge because I know that they're coming from smaller farmers that probably treat their chickens better. I know my mom would freak if she knew I were getting tattoos and nose piercings. But she did. It's just me now. Why do I want that piercing? I don't know. Why do I want anything in life? I don't need them, but I want them. I want to change physical aspects of myself to see how that can change how I behave, to see what that would do for my mentality, for my personality, for my beliefs, all of those things, because I too associate certain connotations with tattoos and piercings. I don't associate a septum piercing with a slave piercing like someone said in the chat, but maybe that is the origin of some of these piercings. I don't really know, but I can tell you that once I got my first tattoos, I felt differently about myself. I feel differently about my body some days. I think it's a fascinating transformative process in terms of interacting with your own body. It is manipulation. It is a form of control. It is modification, but it is done, I think, in a manner where it is meant to adorn and embellish and appreciate, rather than from like my relationship with disordered eating in terms of controlling my body in a very unhealthy, manipulative way where it's self-destructive. I find that tattoos and piercings can make me feel more beautiful, not in terms of like conventional beauty standards, but rather more beautiful in terms of just beholding my body in a way that I am objectifying it almost as a place for art. And I don't mean objectifying my body in like a sexualized way, which is probably how most of us think about the word objectification when it's used on bodies, but objectifying in such a way that I don't feel this personal connection to it where I am toxically judging myself for my corporeal existence and status and condition. If I said to you, I'm determined to get abs this year, how differently would that have come off to you than me saying I want to get a septum piercing this year? Because I think for me, the desire to get abs is a much more toxic wish fulfillment than getting a septum piercing, if that makes sense. Because the desire for abs come from a place of feeling like my body is not good enough, not hot enough, not trim enough, not model-esque enough, not in shape enough, like all of these things that I've been struggling with for like 2 decades now, and it's tiring. So how do I have a different kind of relationship with my body where I'm not evaluating my worthiness based on conventionally agreed upon aesthetics? And in a way, yeah, a septum piercing does feel rebellious. And it used to be much more countercultural in a way. And it's not really that rebellious anymore. It's like considered to be hot or, alternative, quote unquote. But I still do feel like there is a streak of like septum piercings and other less conventional piercings of being like unacceptable. And a part of me does want to engage in the unacceptable just to be like, why is this unacceptable? Why do you think it is unacceptable? That, and also I never liked my nose. So I want to look at my nose differently, the way I wanted to look at my belly differently, which is where I placed my first tattoos. So it's just me trying to navigate a relationship evolution with myself, to become more loving towards myself. I don't want to make enemies with myself. It's exhausting. And yeah, I do have a tattoo that I don't like very much, but I think back to the moment when I got it and how much it changed the way I held myself and behaved myself. And even though aesthetically I don't love it as much anymore, it is undeniable that it had an impact on my routine. So I don't regret it, even though a part of me does regret the way it looks. But regret is also not black and white. Like so many things in life, it's not black and white. If I could go back in time, would I do it again? Amor fati, right? Love of fate. I probably would. If I changed any particular thing or choice or decision in my life in the past, how would that affect who I am today? How could I guarantee that I will like that version of myself any more than I like this version of myself? It's possible that I could have never gotten a tattoo and I still continue to hate my body the same way that I used to hate it, or that I got a different tattoo and I dislike it even more than I dislike this one in a certain way. And it's all kind of like a mind game with yourself regarding not sinking into the thought process of, fuck, I made a mistake, I hate this now, why the fuck did you do that? Like, you could have not done that. That is the same thought pattern that happens to me when I engage in binge eating. The kind of self-blame, the self-shame, the guilt that follows the action is in itself a form of self-punishment. And that is also very unnecessary. So I do want to stop this cycle of like kicking myself when I'm already down. Because I've done that for a lot of my life for who knows what reasons. Maybe it's genetic, maybe it's societal, maybe it stems from insecurities that formed in my early childhood or got strengthened during my immigrant experiences. I don't fucking know. I could go to therapy and find out all about it and talk about it for years. I can give myself some sort of meditative therapy too, and like speaking openly about these thoughts as they come to me and allowing them to just exist without judgment, right? It's really hard to do sometimes, but there's also no point in judging yourself. It's done. It's you. So now you have the choice of, do you embrace yourself and try to accept yourself? Or do you push yourself away and criticize yourself? And to what end? What is your goal here? I'm not gluten-free, but gluten is one of the triggers for my eczema, so I try to like not eat as much gluten if I can help it. But I will still bake cookies and eat bread and all of that. I just like experimenting with gluten-free flours to see what they look like. See how others would treat you with that piercing? Why do you want to be that person? If I did everything with what other people would respond with in mind, I would not do a lot of things. That is the panopticon. That is putting yourself in prison before you're actually in prison. If people want to mistreat me just because I have a stupid ring in between my nostrils, okay, I guess listen, I've been an immigrant twice before the age of 8. I've gotten my fair share of bullying. I've developed coping mechanisms to deal with negative feedback and ostracization. My mom died. I have had a lot of change in the past 2 years in my life. I don't give a shit right now. As long as I have a roof over my head, as long as I have food to eat, as long as I have friends who won't give a shit about what I put on my body, in my body. I have a support network. Do I give a shit about what other people think about my body? Absolutely fucking not. They can go suck it. Wow. And vanity is not like a bad thing, but it can be toxic, just like jealousy, when you refuse to acknowledge what you're actually letting it do to you. The year is 2023. If people aren't going to hire me for a job because I have a septum piercing, sucks for them, I guess. Looks like they're still stuck in the past. If that piercing will take away from my beauty, for whom is my beauty? Who decides whether or not I'm beautiful? And then what does that matter? I get it. I think a lot of these comments that are telling me not to get piercings are from people who are moms or mom-aged. And they're taking a very paternalistic point of view about what I should and shouldn't do with my body. But these are things that they're saying to themselves and not to me. They may think they're saying it to me. And, effectively speaking, they are communicating to me their thoughts. But these comments show me their thought processes. I don't know if a septum ring will make me more or less beautiful, but I want to try it. Does that make sense? I don't know if beauty is the goal here. Do you know what my goal is in getting a septum ring? What a fascinating discussion, y'all. I'm loving this. Hi, San Fran. Would I ever do a TED Talk? Baby! I've been doing TED Talks. What do you think these are? We don't need to slap 3 letters onto our, thumbnails for this to be a TED Talk. This is an ongoing series of TED Talks with active audience engagement. We have evolved the TED Talk. Okay. Raphael says, I do care a lot about what people think of my body. I hate it. I'm in a constant battle to overcome what other people think of me. Not sure how to do it if I'm being honest. It's hard. It's hard when you don't feel like yourself. It's hard when you are comparing yourself to a cardboard cutout that other people carved for you. When I first transferred out of restaurant kitchens, I had my pastry chef encouraging me to experiment and develop my own desserts to put on menus, and I never felt confident enough. And then I moved into food media and became a test kitchen assistant at Delish. And I was asked eventually to develop recipes, and I felt severe imposter syndrome. Like, it stressed me out so much to develop recipes because I was like, I never grew up with recipes. I don't know how to develop these things. How the fuck do I do this? How do I pass it off? Like, I'm not equipped to develop recipes. Everything just takes practice. And I would say, like, doing Budget Eats changed my life in a lot of ways because we were stuck in the pandemic. Everything was abnormal, but that abnormality enabled a lot of us to be ourselves in a way that we were never otherwise afforded. And I was allowed to be myself because we were stuck at home and we had to keep making content. And I was the only one filming myself. And I was the only one recording the content. And I had full control to such an extent that would have never been possible in a studio environment. I still did have to adhere to certain rules, like certain things that I obviously can't talk about. I had that pinup girl on my stovetop the whole time because there was a Bernie sticker beneath her that I wasn't allowed to show, because we're not allowed to be political on a corporate media channel. But even with those rules, those were the barest rules. And I had control over my likeness in a way, and my behavior in a way, and my self-presentation in a way. And I was allowed to be the most me in a corporate media setting. And people responded positively, for the most part, to it. And that built up so much confidence within me to just be me. I think with Budget Eats and the very warm welcome reception to it, I was finally able to sort through my own imposter syndrome and be confident in the fact that I wasn't a cookie cutter recipe developer, that I was occupying space in food media, but I wasn't going along with the formula of food media. And my God, how fucking encouraging that was. So in terms of self-confidence, it is self-confidence. Meaning not only are you proud and accepting of who you are, but that confidence you manufacture, not other people manufacture. Because if you look to other people to manufacture validation for your confidence, you will always be hungry for it and you will always chase for it, and it will not be sustainable. Now, to a certain degree, my self-confidence from Budget Eats was externally validated because of the viewership. And it's kind of like how you have to add lighter fluid to a fire to get it started. But once you get that fire started, it can be sustainable on its own if you learn to feed it in a healthy way. So I don't have an answer on how to develop self-confidence. I can only say this is what happened to me. And I think I also grew much bolder when my mom died, and I realized how unpredictable life can be and how worthless all of my anxieties are sometimes, because you can spend your entire life worrying and it will have no impact in the end. So one of my most stabilizing and grounding coping mechanisms during my most suicidal phase of my depression was to imagine worst case scenarios. And on some days, that would be attending my own funeral and just closing my eyes and immersing myself in that worst case scenario so that I can live through it mentally and psychologically and emotionally in a relatively safe place in my mind. And it's almost like lucid dreaming. And I tell myself that if this were to happen to me, this is how it would feel. And that if I were still alive in that worst case scenario, I would find a way to navigate it somehow. And that if I were dead in that worst case scenario, then I would let myself feel the peace that came with it. A lot of brain work. Mustang Sally says, I'm grandma age. I would never tell anyone not to get tats or piercings, but I did tell my son eons ago, tats are fine. Never put some chick's name on yourself. First tat he got said Holly. I was livid. Kids be kids. Moms, you can say everything you want, but sometimes, according to the kid, me included, reverse psychology is mightier than you think. And the more you tell them not to do it, the bigger the hole they'll dig. But yeah, I'm 33. I'm a kid to some and not a kid to others. I can only be responsible for my own actions, and I am the one that has to deal with the consequences. I realize that. I've dealt with a lot of consequences. I've gotten lucky in terms of what consequences I've been dealt with sometimes, but I realize that I deal with my own consequences. I realize the risks. I may not be aware of all the risks, but we aren't aware of all the risks of life, and we still fucking wake up every day and go to a job if we're lucky enough to have one, or unlucky enough to have one, depending on how you look at it. And we still do all this shit, knowing that we don't actually know how it's gonna end, right? Some people gamble their entire lives away. All I'm gonna do is get a piercing and maybe spend like $350 plus $50 for the jewelry and for the piercing. At the rate of inflation, that might buy me 10 cauliflowers by the end of next year. Yeah, I'm not really cooking tonight. And still, there's somehow 300 of you? I don't fucking understand how these lives work, man. Sometimes I feel like y'all just don't mind me talking without cooking. Really depends on the night. I just DM'd Julia today, and Chelsea wants to hang out, but we're all adults, and now it's like really hard to figure out times to hang out. But yes, I'm still friends. Zach just texted me today. Philip just texted me today. I love it when you guys fight. I don't love the fight, but I love it that you guys can fight. And it's like very familial in a way. It's like all very friendly fighting if we think about it that way. I embrace conflict. I love when there is conflict, not for the sake of conflict, but for the sake of knowing that when we do have conflict, we are still bonded together enough to come out on the other side of that conflict, knowing that we're going to see each other again, virtually or not, and still be able to exist together. Like that is an act of love. Counterintuitive love, maybe. But it's very moving. I want there to be moments of conflict in my relationships because I want to prove to myself that the relationship is strong enough to weather them. And that's why when people, and especially romantic interests and partners, tell me to not give rise to conflict, that avoidant behavior troubles me sometimes because it makes me think that they think whatever bond we have is not strong enough to endure disagreement. So, we will always have fights. But how will you resolve things after the fight is done? Will there be an epilogue? Sometimes the epilogue holds a lot more answers than the main story itself. Hello, 20-year-old. Our future. How does it feel to be inheriting an absolutely crumbling society? You will be okay, Mackenzie. You will be okay as any of us will be okay. And if it's gonna suck, it's gonna suck for everyone. At different levels of the shit pudding, as I like to call it. You know, in a trifle, there's different layers. But if you smash the trifle dish, those layers are all going to end up on the floor one way or another. So if you don't take care of each other, good luck. What is my personality type? That is the right one. It was in the latest video. I left so many little Easter egg clues in there that was so visible. Karen says, did you say something about life is a waiting room for death today on Instagram? No, I didn't, but I asked jokingly for people to tell me what I should be adding onto my Hinge profile. And one of the responses was to put that as a part of my Hinge profile, that life is just a waiting room for death. And honestly, I hope to God there is no afterlife, but if there is, that's absolutely fucking right. This is just a waiting room. You think you're not in purgatory? Think again. What are you doing with your purgatory time here? Oh my gosh. Lillian says, I watch Mikey Chen, but my partner says he is like watching a human garbage can. Girl, Mikey Chen can eat. I applaud him. Takes so much skill to be able to eat like that. I would love to go eat with Mikey Chen one day. We'll see. We'll see. Thank you for telling me to realize how great I am. I realize it. I also realize how shitty I am. The parts of my life that you don't get to see. That Aaron has seen quite a bit of. Remember, you're only getting a couple of hours of me at max. There's a lot more than 2 hours in a day. There's a lot more than 1 day a week to living with myself day in and day out. So yes, I can be great. I can also be not great. Hi, Malaysia. Hi, Seattle. Why is Julia really ending Julia Eats Everything? Guess you'll have to ask her. Do I like orange chicken? If it's done well, I guess. Why not? A little bit of sweet, a little bit of saucy, a little bit of sticky, a little bit of slight crisp crunch. Nice juicy chicken bites served atop some rice maybe, or bits of broccoli, well cooked enough that the florets are soft but still has a little bit of a bite. The little tiny florets have soaked up all of the sauce and it's just like a tiny gush of salty umami orange gel with every bite. The rice, if cooked right, is steamed so that every kernel is separate but still tacky. The fragrance is slightly creamy and slightly grassy. Is your mouth watering? It's not that I don't want to share aspects of my life. It's that I don't get to share all of it. Like, also, I don't want to show you how I fart, guys. Like, nobody needs that right now. We gotta save that for like a particular layer of Patreon supporters. I'm sure there's at least 2.5 of you. I've never had Trader Joe's orange chicken. Ube jam? Oh, put it on toast. Dip it in condensed milk. Okay, guys. I think I'm gonna go eat some brownies in private and bid you farewell. We've had 2.5 hours of my rambling, and I think we're done. And I really enjoyed all of the rambling. So thank you for being here. All 320 of you. What's the worst breakfast sandwich I can think of? I'm going to say ketchup on graham crackers. Think about it.